In this video, you will learn everything that beginner level fighters should know, starting with your stance, with the 6 punches, and some defensive moves. I will also be giving you guys 5 realistic beginner level combos that you can use in a fight or simply just hitting the bags. So make sure you guys watch to the end. This video today is sponsored by Destroy Fighting. You guys want to purchase this shirt, I'll have a link down below. As you can see in the back, walk them down. So let's get started with our boxing stance. You can either be a southpaw or an orthodox fighter, depending on your dominant hand. Me, I'm a righty, so what I want to do first is get square, then take one step back with my dominant hand and my dominant foot. Bam. Now here, this is your stance right here. Remember guys, your dominant hand is always behind you because it travels more distance, making it a lot more powerful than your lead hand. Same thing if you're a southpaw, right? You want to get square, take a step back with your left leg and your left hand. Your left hand should travel more distance because it's your dominant hand, making it more powerful. Now that you know your stance, I'm going to show you guys the most common mistakes that beginners make so you can avoid them. So let's get into our boxing stance. The biggest mistake I see beginners make is dropping their hands. There's a famous quote in boxing that goes by, hand down, man down. Don't let that be you. Keep your hands up right by your chin. Now, the second mistake is going to be crossing your feet when you're moving. You do not want to move like this because then you're super off balance. There's no mobility. You can't throw off of that. So remember, guys, keep your feet far apart. Do not cross them. Keep them apart from each other. You want to step and step. Do not cross your feet, okay? Now, the third mistake I see is having your elbows too wide. Remember, when your elbows are really wide, you're showing your opponent your next move. You're super predictable. You want to keep your elbows in. You also are able to protect your ribs a lot better. You also want to keep your chin down. I see a lot of fighters when they're punching, their chin is going up. The more they punch, the higher the chin goes. You do not want to do that because if your chin's high and you get hit, it makes the punch look a lot more effective. So remember, guys, chin down all the time. Also, guys, bend your knees. Not too much where your knees are going to be super tight. You want to have loose knees, but you also want to bend your knees enough where your stance is not going to be too tall, because if you're too tall, you're also super off balance. You get hit, bam. When your knees are bent, you're able to absorb the punches better. You're right here, you're blocking better. So remember, guys, knees bent, chin down, elbows in, hands up. That's the basis of boxing, the basics, the fundamentals, really important. Now I'm going to show you guys how to move forward, side to side, and back in boxing. So let's get into our boxing stance. When you're moving forward, you want to lead with your leading foot and push off with your back leg. Now going back, the exact same thing. Push off with your front leg, but you want to lead with your back foot. When you go into the side, you want to lead with your leading foot, but push off with your back leg. Same thing when I'm going the opposite way. Just like I said in the mistakes, do not cross your feet. You're super off balance, you will get knocked out. Do not do that. Now that we know our stance plus the basic footwork fundamentals in boxing, now I'm going to show you guys the 6 punches that you need to learn in an orthodox stance, since I'm not a southpaw. But if you're a southpaw, just do the exact opposite. Let's get right into our boxing stance. First, I'm going to show you guys the most important punch in boxing, which is the jab. So when you're throwing the jab, you want to fully throw it straight out. Don't bend the elbow, and a flat fist at the end. You do not want to do this. All the way out, flat fist at the end. You also want to make sure to step with it. Now I'm going to show you guys the 2 or the cross. When you're throwing the 2 or the cross, you also want to fully extend it out. Do not bend the elbow, flat fist at the end. You want to rotate your hips. When you rotate your hips, you're able to hit your opponent from further out. If you do this, there's no movement to that. There's no power behind that punch. Rotate your hips, flat fist at the end. You want to pivot your back foot. For the hooks, the 3 and the 4, you want to throw your hooks at a 9-degree angle. You also want to rotate your hips. The 5 and the 6 are going to be your uppercuts. 5 is going to be your lead uppercut. 6 is going to be your rear uppercut. When you're throwing an uppercut, you want to slightly get off that center line and then come straight up with the uppercut. Get off that center line, straight up with the uppercut. As you see, I'm also rotating my hips. So you want to make sure you practice those punches slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or jab, cross, lead hook, lead uppercut, rear uppercut. Once you know the 6 basic punches in boxing, now you got to learn some defensive moves so you won't be a standing stick when you're throwing these punches. All right, so let's get into our boxing stance. First, I'm going to show you guys is the slips. When you're slipping, you want to slightly get off that center line. Slightly have a little bit of weight in your front foot and then transfer it to your back foot. Just like that. This is how you slip. You don't want to slip too far down because then you might slip back into a punch. Now I'm going to show you guys the roll. When you roll, you want to picture a U right in front of you and you're just following that with your head. Bam. You guys can see I'm making a U with my head. That's how you roll. Don't look at the ground. Keep your head up. And that's how you roll. Now I'm going to show you guys how to block, right? So when you're blocking the punch, you want to bring your hand right above, kind of right by your temple. Here, right by your temple. That's how you block a punch. Do not extend it out. I see a lot of fighters when they're first learning how to block, they try to extend their hand out, leaving their face right open. You're just going to get hit. Keep it right in tight. Keep it in tight. Keep it in tight. You could also block to the body. Do not drop your full hand, leaving your chin right open. You want to come down with it. Come down with it. This is how you block to the body. This is how you block to the head. Now you also got to learn how to parry. I see a lot of fighters when they parry, they just try to swat the glove doing this. That's going to drop your hands tremendously down, almost to the ground, basically, leaving your guard right open. You want to keep it tight. This is how you parry. Bam, bam, bam. Do not swat it down because when you're leaving your guard right open, someone's going to add a feint and they're going to hit you right in the chin. So just keep it tight. The most basic defensive move is probably going to be just ducking down. So when you're ducking down, you're basically just doing a squat, but you're coming low. You're ducking down. You could duck down and come up, bam. But you want to make sure you don't get too low. You don't want to get too low. That's going to tire your legs out. Just duck down enough where you're going to dodge a punch and you can come right back with your own combination. The most important defensive move for me is going to be keeping your distance because you could easily slip into a jab, roll into a hook, or duck into an uppercut. But if you know how to keep your distance, you know how to read your opponent, stick your jab out, don't let him come in, pull back, step back. You want to think like a smart fighter, have a high IQ in the ring, hit and don't get hit. Now, when you're stepping back in boxing, you want to push off with your front foot and land on your back foot. Just like that, guys. Easy, simple as that. Keep your distance. Make sure you use your jab to read your distance from you and your opponent. Now, if they keep closing the distance, make them pay with your power shots and then circle the ring. You also want to keep moving back because then you're eventually going to hit a rope. You do not want to do that. If you've made it this far into the video, I know you're serious about boxing and you want to learn how to defend yourself. So now I'm going to show you 5 realistic boxing combinations. The first combo is going to be short but extremely deadly if used correctly. You're going to give me 2 jabs and then a cross. The double jab is used to close the distance from you and your opponent, and the cross is used to punch through your opponent, fully rotating your hips. Double jab, cross. Fully rotate those hips, punch through your opponent. But you could also mix them up. You give me 2 jabs to the body, then a cross to the head, or you give me 2 jabs to the head, and then a cross to the body. That combo could also be used to create an opening for your lead hook. For example, double jab to the head, cross to the body, bam, perfect for the lead hook to the head, chin shot. The second combo is great to confuse your opponent. We're going to lead off with 2 jabs to the body. So you're going to give me 2 jabs to the body. Then on the third one, you're going to fake a jab, but you're going to come atop with the 3. So you got jab, jab, and a lead hook to the chin. Man, that's a deadly combo because your opponent is not expecting that third punch to be a chin shot. He's expecting another body shot. Jab, jab, boom. Jab, jab, lead hook to the head. The third combo is great for inside fighting and outside fighting. So we have the jab, cross, lead hook, cross. On the bags, if you're using it to keep your distance, you want to fully extend your punches, you want to open up your hook. So you got the 1, 2, 3, 2. Open up that hook. Now, let's say you want to close your distance with this combo. You're going to use the jab and the cross to close the distance, and then the 3-2 at the end to punish your opponent. So you're going to use the jab, cross, close the distance. 3-2, you want to fully punish your opponent. Rotate your hips, generate more power. You could also mix it up. You go 1, 2, 3 to the body, then 2 to the head. Or you go 1, 2, 3, 2. Like I said, guys, mix them up. Don't be so predictable. This fourth combo is going to be great for all you pressure fighters or if you just want to close the distance from you and your opponent so you can hurt them. So we're going to get into our boxing stance. We're going to throw the 1, 2, 3 to the body, and then 3 to the head. As you've seen right there, I used the 1, 2 to close the distance, and I got off that center line with my cross. 1, 2, that's gonna have more weight on my front foot, so I could use that to punish my opponent to the body and to the head. Again, guys, 1, 2, 3, 3. Now you could also mix it up. You could go 1, 2, 3 of the head, and then 3 of the body. Great combo. Write it down. Practice it. I saved the best combo for last. We got the double jab and then the rear hook. 1, 1, 4. A lot of fighters have that basic stance with their guard up, and they always leave their lead hand a little bit further out, leaving this right open. Perfect for the 4. Use the double jab to read the distance, and then the 4, slightly get off that center line, and then the 4 is going to go right in their chin because they're leaving this hand right out. So when you're hitting the bag with it, you want to use the double jab to close the distance or find a better range. Once you find that better range to land that 4, get off that center line, and you're going to land that 4 perfectly if you're off that center line, so you won't get hit. These are 5 great realistic boxing combos that you can use in sparring and in a real fight, but make sure you practice them on the bags first, get them down, and then use them in the ring. If you watch the full video, then you just learned everything that beginner level fighters should know. But practice makes perfect. So remember, guys, you got to practice all of these every single day. Your stance, your footwork, your defensive moves, the combos, practice everything, man, and you're going to be a complete fighter. But guys, that's it for today's video. If you like this type of content, make sure you guys drop a sub. I will be posting boxing content weekly. See you guys in the next one.